Hi, this is Garage 101. Today I'm going to show you some routine maintenance I'm doing for the water heater. I have two 50-gallon water heater at home, and I'm going to show you how I do this checkup once a year. There are two things on a water heater that you can do it yourself. The first thing is do a water heater flush. If you used to have someone come and do the flush for you, the chances are your tank is not very dirty and you can try to do it yourself. But if you have not done a flush before and it has been a few years, the chances are your tank has a lot of deposit in there, and a flush is going to be really bad for your water heater. So only recommended when you have been routinely have someone flushing it, and now you can try to flush it yourself. The second thing, which is the first thing I'm going to show you, is I'm going to check the anode rod. That will be, the anode rod is a magnesium rod that is inside your tank, that when cold water come in, it will first try to bond with those metals, so it will eat up the anode rod metals instead of the steel on your water tank. So it's very important that you make sure that the tank has the good anode rod in it. So in this water tank, it is right here with this socket right here. This is a 50-gallon tank and it is 54-inch long. And I bought this anode rod from a hardware store for about $50. Some of those sell around $40 to $50. And also, to take it out, you are going to need a 1 1/16 socket. And if you have a socket impact wrench, that will be great. First, you see if it fits. Yep, it's perfect fit for this one. Okay. Or if you don't have a impact wrench, the next thing you can try is a full-size half-inch wrench. Okay. So let's see how we are going to do the setup here. So before we do anything, it is important to know you understand the direction of the flow of your water heater, where the water goes in, where the water comes out. So in this system, it's pretty typical that you have cold water come in from the top. That two port, one it has blue is cold, and then you heat up inside the tank, and then the red comes out as hot water. And in this system I have two, so this one go into the other one, and then this is going to the rest of the house, all the faucets. So to have this set up, first thing is we are going to turn off the water that comes into the tank, and then we will try to just drain out a little bit so that when we open the socket, water won't flood it all out with pressure. So we're going to relieve the pressure. There are two ways to do that. One way, simple way, would be if you have a valve, open valve like this, you can just open it and let the pressure relieve out like that. Or if you want to save up the water and you don't want to just waste it, you can also try to use the exit port at the bottom, which in this case I can use mine like this. Make sure that none of your household faucet is turned on. You don't want the rest of the water from all the house pipes to go backflow back into your tank. So if you keep them shut at the process, then you only have a little to drain out. Otherwise, it will keep coming. Okay. So that looks pretty good. So I'll turn that off. And the rest of those, I will use the relief valve to let it drain that out. Okay. So it looks like the water, this part of the tank is empty. And you don't need to shut off the water heater because you're going to do a quick swap and you still have a lot of water in there to keep it boil. So there's no need to turn off the water heater, but you can just swap out the anode rod. So to check the anode rod, the first thing is we have to identify where it is. It will be on top of the water heater. You see there is a socket right there, and it will fit a socket that is 1/16. One way is you use a long ply bar, a socket wrench. This one is like a 1/2 inch socket wrench. You can try to see if it can turn. But if it doesn't turn, then your second option will be using an impact wrench. So in this case, I already have it wrenched out. So this one looks fine. Okay. And we'll try to pull it out and see the condition of that. So as you see, it got eat up pretty badly, but not very bad. You still have a lot left. I would say this look like you still have around 40% left, but it is getting closer to the bottom of it. So I'm going to replace this one since I have a new one. I bought this from any hardware store. It's around $35 to $40. They have two types. They have one type that is in one piece, and also another type that is in a link like this. So if you compare the two, you can tell how much it has been eaten up. And the reason why we need to replace this is because this is your first defense of your water heater. It will first, when the water first comes in, it won't rust because it eat up your anode rod instead of the steel inside your water heater. So replacing this is a very important thing to do. So before we put that in, I have some Teflon flat sealant. I just need to apply just a little bit all around to make it go in, and then I will just screw it back in. So the advantage of the link system is you can put in one section at a time like this without knowing that there would be anything that is on its way and it's too long. So it takes time to go in one section at a time. As you see, eventually every piece of it is going in. And it's okay that you have extra water that go in there. I just have a towel to catch them. Then I will just use the socket to hand tighten it. until I cannot hand tight anymore. And this time I'm going to put it into a impact socket. So when I use the impact wrench, I didn't try to make it all the way tight because I don't want it to be super tight. Instead, I will, when I'm halfway there, I'm going to use the socket wrench to hand tighten it. I'll just tighten it until I can feel it has a strong resistance that I cannot go any further. And that's probably good enough to go, so you don't hurt the thread of it. So before I turn it back on, open the valve to let the cold water back in, let's do a quick check. Okay, the full port is closed. The valve is closed, so I can watch for the leak and slowly open to let cold water back in the tank. So just fill it in slowly. So it looks like there's no leak. So it's good to go from here. So when you look at an old rod, it's all eaten up with all the water deposits, that eating up the rod. This tank is a 2009. The last I checked was 2022, about a year and a half ago. It's only have 60% left, but the way I look at it, it looked like it's down to about 40, and it looked really bad. So I just changed it. So it's a 15-year-old water heater. Still look good as new. That's when you keep up with the maintenance. So the next thing that I was going to show you is how to do a full pot flush that will every so often when water come in, all the deposit will accumulate inside the tank. So once a while we will need to flush that out.